Barriers are not permanent now. What if you want to travel and you don't want to have, do the maintenance? I mean, plenty of folks are, not interested in that. I think they, what century did they do this poll in? Because it seems
it was actually recently done. It was recently done.
You're finding that a lot of old and new were still
mixed in there. Yeah,
still clashing.
That does sort of fascinate me because with everything that's going on, I think we've been a lot less in tune with what people really think than we really thought we were. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's a lot of thoughts. Some of these surprise me too, Colleen. So, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. You just to wholesale. I mean, to dismiss anyone on, like I said, I can see some of the, if something was really excessive on a first date and you're going through you could go, or something was not, brought up in a profile or you didn't know, because very few people are on blind dates anymore. You know, so that might be that, if some of the stuff was not disclosed or was different than you thought.
Well, that's a common problem. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That not lack of disclosure or misrepresentation.
Yes.
Okay. This is interesting. And depending on, people have many different reasons for this, but there's a site called lifehacker.com. And again, we'll post the link to this, but they did a big comparison. It's really kind of cool. A lot of research, pros and cons of period trackers. And you pick them based on the functionality for what reasons that you want it. So you might be trying to get pregnant, trying not to get pregnant. Maybe you want to track your moods and symptoms so you can figure out if headaches might be due to your cycle. It's kind of interesting. They all have sort of different, they excel in different areas. So if you've got any particular reason, there's all these different apps and you can read about all of them. So we're going to post that for you.
Actually, that would be sort of handy because if you're having something, if you want to track to, it's much easier to go talk to your doctor, or medical professional, or nurse practitioner, if you have some sort of, record of what's going on.
Yeah.
Because you can go through there.
Yeah. And we love our devices.
And that's handy if you're going to use it. I mean, it's certainly, it's certainly easier to sometimes to like, oh, damn, I need to write this down. Your phone's with you, but the notebook you had at home years ago may not be with you.
Right.
And stuff like that. Because I had horrible cramps. I had a Vicodin prescription. My cramps were so bad. And like I said, I've talked about this before that I had a doctor that did not dismiss my symptoms.
That's great.
I said I was in pain. He believed me. And we spent years dealing with it, trying to figure out what's going on. Nothing particularly, there, like endometriosis or fibroids or anything like that. I had the parts, I had cramps.
Yeah.
And they sucked really, really, really bad. And so, if you, anything that can help someone get through that, or, just bring more complete information, it would be spectacular.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a pretty interesting comparison. So we're going to talk a little bit religion before we break up. And I don't usually like to end on the darker stuff, but there's two really concerning stories out there. Let me start with the one in Wisconsin. And I'm pissed about this. Years ago, there was an ex-school official, former Catholic school administrator in western Wisconsin, and this is the La Crosse area, charged with enticing a teenager for sex. And, it's a 59-year-old man, and there's all sorts of, there's sex with a child and all of this kind of things. The diocese, if you read the story, we'll post it for you. You can make your own call. Once again, the story represented to me another a callousness on the part of the Catholic Church to deal with this sort of stuff. And it's long just pissed me off.
And I'm assuming they moved him to another church.
No,
or just or
there. No, I mean he's being investigated now and facing some serious trouble. But the diocese said, well, the police initially determined that there was nothing wrong, so they left him there. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, but then again, does it go to, I just don't believe that they really looked at it because he's now, you know what I mean? I think that they have swept so much under the rug.
Yeah, it takes time, and it takes time for victims to feel comfortable talking. And that's fine, which is why it was really handy. And I don't think there should have been when they expanded the time limit for charges in Minnesota, it was spectacular, but I don't think there should have been an end date. Because when someone is psychologically ready to deal with a trauma, regardless of what it is, I don't think they're ready. and, and an arbitrary legal time frame. And people, and you just, and if someone did something wrong, they, just because 15 years have gone by doesn't mean they, they won the time or the trauma lottery.
Yeah, and statute of limitations on something like this happening to a child, like you said, you can bury that. It can, whatever. I just don't think that that's right, because it's in the formative years, and every psychologist in the world or study can pull a different result about what's appropriate. So I don't think there should be a statute on it.
Yeah, because PTSD, and they're saying that the PTSD, and they're actually saying, I've read some stories that you should get rid of the word disorder, because it's what happens to you as a kid affects you as you grow, whatever it was, whether it's divorce or whether it's violence or whether it's drug use, or all the stuff that you witness as a child affects you as you get older. You don't know what that's going to be, and so to put a time limit on something like that is just wrong. But at least it's then again, I always figure at least it's not hidden or squashed anymore.
Yeah. Real quick, in other hypocritical news, this is the Judicial Council of the First United Methodist Church. First thing is they confirmed their first openly gay bishop, and then they rejected the consecration later. She has not been...
My knee's being licked by that.
Our studio dog, Fred, is licking your knee.
He's licking my knee.
Well, good for you. Fred, the toe thing is my favorite.
Yes, I already got my foot earlier.
Okay. But no, so they haven't fired her yet, but they've got gay advocacy groups within the church, and they're saying, well, it violates doctrine, this, that, and the other thing. And so there's a big hoo-ha, and this is a cluster of a diocese that encompasses like Colorado, Wyoming, like it's in the...
So you get that far and then you rescind it?
Pretty much, but she hasn't been fired. So they're just saying, well, it's a don't ask, don't tell for church. Basically.
Steps forward, steps back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's frustrating, but how do you get that far? And I think what I find about stuff like this is that you look around and you find out which one of your the people that which ones are the bigots.
Yeah,
like the folks out in Delano freaking out over a diversity sign that happened to have rainbow colors on it.
Okay.
First the school said you couldn't do it, then they said give it back. It took 24 hours for them to do the right thing. They have a policy, right in fact, in place that says that they don't tolerate any of this crap. It's in the paper today. And it's been in the news. And I'm just like, when you get through there, you're like, that just tells me who to avoid.
Yeah.
It really does. I work around it, donate to other causes, do some things, write some letters, but I know immediately who I have to block, mute, ignore, work around. One of the things that, that the past 6 months or so have shown is that it's just much easier to identify the assholes now. And I say that, just going through there because I'm sorry, it is. It's asshole behavior to treat someone differently for things like that.
Well, I'm going to be very curious to see, Colleen, what happens to the future of organized religion, because it's my opinion, and I don't care if you're a religious person, not a religious person, whatever. I think organized religion, and I'm throwing them all together, except for maybe the Jewish. I don't hear any of this stuff coming out of the Jews. Actually, I hear it in the Christianity and some of the Muslim stuff. But they have done more, I think, to put people off of religion than anything. Is their own organizations.
Yeah, you have to look at each. I know a lot of people of faith that are also, that are some of the least bigoted people I know.
Yeah.
But they have found what they need in the community. And I think it will evolve to that point.
Yeah.
Because they'll just be, the folks that want to shun will just become smaller groups.
And they are. It's shrinking. I don't have the stats here, but they're showing like the participation in the traditional denominations is plummeting.
Yeah, because they just because there's the more and more people. It's going to be harder and harder to not know someone who is of something that you're saying
that they are
is
preaching
wrong.
against.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just, and their kids are going to look at this and go, I don't think so. It just becomes less and less. But the idea of a community of helping folks, that's not going to stop.
Oh my God. Okay. Guess what I did? Have you ever heard of Goats for the Old Goat?
No.
Okay, because I was just thinking about people giving money to churches and where I'd rather give my money. I bought a goat for somebody in Africa. It's
is this like a Kia? No, Kika?
Very similar.
Okay, there's a couple different ones. I'm blanking on it.
For $60, you can sponsor a goat to be given to a family, and it like changes their life for $60. So I did that because I just thought it was such a riot. I'm like, I can do that. So I did that. They have a Goat of the Month club. So for $60 a month, every month you can send a goat to somebody. How cool is that?
I've seen that. Kiva, I think that's
Kiva.
Yeah,
okay,
it's another one I know that it's really good because you can choose the animals, the area. Some of it's even in the U.S.
Yeah.
A lot of times, some folks are want to. It's like it's microloans and stuff like that, different things, and it really does help. And what's really nice about it is that some of it's like you might invest in someone's education. They don't need very much to go to school.
Right.
And then you go through, and then they say that when they get out, they will invest, they'll invest it back. Or it's just, they get paid back. It's just really a wonderful thing.
I guess where I'm going with this is that if you can spend $60 and like really help a family to fight hunger, it's like I'd so much rather spend my money that way than to sponsor an organization that argues over human reality. That's just me. So on that note, have a super good week, everybody. Colleen, super fun. I hate it that you guess everything, but I'll be okay with it. And we'll see you next week.
Talk soon.